All right, let's talk about great tag teams. You've got like Arn and Tully. You've got Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. You've got The New Day. You've got FTR. You've got all these great tag teams. What do they have in common? Well, it's two people working together for a common goal. And that is why we're talking about Everdell Duo. So right now, the question of the day is, what is your favorite two-player game? Specifically a game made for two players. Mine, probably Twilight Struggle. Phenomenal game. Fantastic. Star Wars Rebellion's right there. But let's take a look at what Everdell Duo does, and we'll come back up, talk final thoughts right now. All right, this is Everdell Duo. It is set up for, shocker, two players. It's a two-player game. You got the campaign book here. You can play a duo version that is cooperative, or you can play competitive in any way that you want. Now, essentially, you're going to play over 4 seasons, just like in regular Everdell. A couple things are different. That is cat hair. You'll notice that I just vacuumed this table off, and the cat decided to crawl up here. Fitting for a game all about animals. But this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to have 3 meeples, animeeples, and you're going to actually use those for action spaces where the foot is of anything. They could be these spaces on the board, could be the ones up there. You're going to have more of these trophy kind of festival things, achievements at the end, but I've just got one to show you. And then you can go up here to claim those. You also gain the resource for claiming them. These spaces will change out. The river ones will change out. Certain cards will talk about farms, and then the whatever this space is called, and then they will affect them accordingly. Now, these spaces will always stay there. However, they can be blocked by a worker. So if a worker's already there, it's blocked. Also, in the cooperative mode, you're going to have skunks that are going to block the sun and the moon. Now, certain actions, like placing a worker, will move the sun forward. It will go forward 1 space. When you take a card, you'll move the moon forward. Sorry, when you play a card from the meadow, you can only play a card that is touching the sun or the moon. Case in point, one of these 4. Which means sometimes there are points where a skunk will be here and here, which means you can never actually get access to those in that phase. When the sun and the moon reach the end by doing the different actions, which the third action would be to take a card, not play it, that will move the sun or the moon forward. Basically, if you can't move the sun or the moon, you cannot take that action, which kind of forces your hand and limits you to what you can do. You're going to take cards, you're going to play if they're creatures, you're going to pay the berry cost, you're going to pay the wood, resin, and pebble cost to build locations, and then essentially in the cooperative game, you're going to be playing to get enough points to beat a certain goal. Same thing just like in Everdell, though, or actually I should say like in Far Shore. Unlike Everdell, there's not like a shop and a shopkeeper card where if you have the shop, you can put the shopkeeper in it for free. In this one, you can just spend if you have them, and you can get access to those little tokens there. You can just say, okay, I'm building this creature for cheaper or free using this occupied token instead of having to have the exact one. Now, I actually like that better about Everdell than Far Shore. Certain ones will cost more, but they're going to be end of game bonuses. And then these little achievement things to give you points up here are going to have things like have a combination of green and red equal to 5 and have the most. Now, in cooperative mode, it doesn't matter so much. You're going to have to, if there's a skunk out there, and the way the skunks work, you're going to roll the dice per row. If there's a skunk there, you will put, you're not going to be able, you're going to have to count that against this score as well. Anyway, you'll play, that's a cat, until you have reached all 4 seasons. You'll count points at the end of the game, and if you reach the goal, see what I'm talking about? You know how annoying that is? She's adorable. If you reach the goal, you win. If you don't, you lose. You can try it again. There are also good news cards and bad news cards. These are like kind of, they go along with the theme of the campaign, in which you have a new mayor and you have kind of a quote-unquote right-wing and left-wing journalist writing about them. It's pretty great. But that is how you play Everdell Duo. All right, that's Everdell Duo. So it is a 2-player version of Everdell, really kind of a combination between Everdell and Far Shore, because that's where we are. We're in the middle of this nexus of the 2 games really combining into one and giving us Everdell Duo. So first of all, you've got the concept. Concept's an 8. It's still an 8 for me just because the concept of Everdell is great, like Mossflower, like Redwall. Like you've got all these cutesy little animals doing incredible things, right? Board layout's a 9. I really like the way the board lays out there and works. Like it just makes sense. There's places for everything. Your cards have a nice meadow. Your action spaces that get put out on the board. Everything just works. And I like the flow from left to right in this game. This is a new concept that you don't have in the other games. So I really like that. Mechanics are 7. Now, the reason that is because it's still worker placement with a whole lot of card action. It's way less of a worker placement game, and it always has been, than it is a use your resources to do things. And most of those things you do would involve getting and playing cards. Art direction is an 8. All the symbols are there. They make sense. A couple of them are kind of wonky. You got to make sure you know what you're doing. And you got to remember which actions. Now, yes, there's a reference card. Which actions move the sun or which actions move the moon. And when that moon and sun timer run out, well, then you're stuck. If you're playing also with the skunks in there, then you can't really move past those skunks if they're blocking the end. Art's a 9. Art has always been incredible in Everdell. It's beautiful art. It looks great. Whoever does the art for this, just tremendous. Should I know that? Probably. But it's incredible art. Everything from top to bottom, from the outside of the box, the game components, the meeples themselves, and the meeples, actually, Bryan. All those things look incredible. So, always been a 9 when it comes to the art. The gameplay's a 7. So the 7 is because it feels like Everdell quicker, but there's nothing stripped out of it, which is weird. It's just you have a new timer mechanic with the moving of the moon and the sun to where you can only get certain things done. And then you also have to be careful because if you're playing the combo mode, or the co-op mode, you have to work together to get a high enough score, and you share a single tableau. I do like that version, but there's still not a whole lot to be done. It does feel like Everdell. It just feels like, I feel like you should just, if you're going to play competitively in this, you should probably just play Everdell or Far Shore at 2-player. Unless you don't want to set up the whole tree and the lighthouse and all that stuff. I get it, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, if you're playing cooperatively, this does make sense to play the cooperative campaign and play all the way through. That's fun. Rulebook's an 8. Solid, straightforward rulebook. Tells you everything you need to know to play the game. Do need to look up a couple things in there as far as where to actually place the sun and moon. Is it on space 1 or is it before space 1? Just little things like that. But total's an 8. Everdell Duo, cute game, great looking game. Everdell, if you already like Everdell, you're going to like this game. If you don't like Everdell, guess what? This is not going to change your mind. It's not going to change your opinion. So that is Everdell Duo. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on X and Instagram at Dice Tower Bryan. Get the new merch hats at DicetowerStore.com. And until next time, we'll see you.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. And you can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.